So now the banks are under the yoke of non-performing loans. So we have an investment banker here who is the managing director of Afrinvest, Securities, Ayodeji Ebo. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
When are we going to start from where we are to where we think we should be and where we're coming from? This is a spectre of bad loans in an economy that I don't want to use the expression bad, but it's weak and battered.
Yes, it shouldn't be a surprise. The bank operates in the economy, and if you look at the challenges the economy has gone through in the past 2 years, that has also affected those companies that they have advanced credits to. So, accumulation of non-performing loan will not be a surprise. Currently, the ratio, I think, based on the CBN stability reports, about 14%. I think rose from about 4-5% previous year. So, when you look at in terms of if you dimension the sectors where these banks have lent to, you look at the oil and gas space, which is about 30%, the manufacturing about 13%, and government about 8%. You look at, when you take the oil and gas, we're all aware of the sharp decline in oil prices, the manufacturing as a result of challenges within the FX, challenges with FX. Most of them were not able to service their loans. Some of them were not able to purchase raw materials to produce. And when you also look at government, for those that have also advanced loans to the workers, a lot of, if not for the bailout that we've seen the past months, a lot of them too were unable to service the loan. So it's part of the pains that are accompanying some of the challenges that we've seen in the economy.
Let me make a case for the banks. Should we blame the banks? And I remember 2-3 years ago, we were all applause for the banks lending money to local oil companies, picking out some of the IOCs, oil assets in the upstream, Niger Delta, isn't it? And we felt that was good. Then they were lending to the telecoms operators as well, because we need to expand and scale up from 1G to 2G to 3G, and then about 4G. Then we all see some consolidation within the telecom sector. Then we did the privatization of the power sector just 3 years ago, and the banks were there to lend money to this new class of investors. Greenfield, everyone thought it's going to be El Dorado. Here we are today. Should we blame the banks?
No, I don't think the banks are to be blamed. Even I feel for them to have even taken that level of risk to also advance loan, because more of what I feel we should look at is what are the regulations around those sectors that they have advanced loan to. For instance, you just spoke about the power space. The regulation is still a challenge, and for people, for firms operating within that space, most of them may not be profitable if NERC does not look at some of those policies that still guides around doing business for some of those companies. We also look at the telecoms. It's no news again that the current the Etisalat loan issue that is being the company is trying to resolve. There's been a lot of back and forth around that. When you look at that in terms of regulation, the tariff has been pegged. Is currently less than 20 Naira. And when you look at cost of operation, when they came in, then about 5 years ago, exchange was about 155 Naira to $1. Diesel was about 90 Naira then, is about 270 now. When you look at those, they also service, when you look at depreciation of the Naira, they service most of their capex in dollars. They service this loan, and you can't increase your tariff. So it's, I feel this issue that Etisalat is facing can partly also be linked to regulation.
Regulation in the sector. You've brought out two sectors. First, the power sector. They can raise tariffs. The National Assembly and the federal government wants to do social services. They don't want social unrest on their hands, because petrol is also very nasty in terms of the global oil price, landing costs, bridging gaps, whatever you call it. So there's a problem there. So we try to say, okay, hold on a second. Don't move as far as the discos are concerned. They can't make money. There's no meter. So there is what they call crazy bills.
Yeah.
They will have a problem. Then we move to the telecoms. They can't raise tariffs, but they've got to give me very fast network on this system in the studios 24/7. And they told me to browse all night so that I wake up with very weak eyes and I'm unable to sleep because, well, there's a free data, bundled up, free airtime. So the economy was bubbling inside, isn't it?
Yes.
That was a bubble.
Yes, it's a bubble, but I feel it's self-inflicted. We need to also try and review some of this policy because even with Etisalat, the group, I think there are about 3 groups that have significant investments, the Etisalat, Mudabala, as well as the Nigerian investor, that's the Bello Osage group. The Etisalat have announced on the floor of the Abu Dhabi Stock Exchange yesterday that they are pulling out. But what the signal to also foreign investors, if the policy is not favorable, even if the banks take over some of these shares, what value will they bring? So if the company cannot even perform, you can't get your top line, you can't increase your tariff, and you can't, there's no way you want to restructure. Even when you sell, if any other person takes over, you sell these shares to someone to come and run this business. If the regulations is not amended and they allow fully deregulate it, deregulate that space, I don't think it will work. Yeah, it's Etisalat today. We have 2 other major, and when you look at their system,
I was about to ask the question. Is this a case of, I don't want to use the expression, one bad apple, but let's say the Etisalat case is a one bad apple. You say it's likely going to spoil the whole basket?
I feel it's also going to spoil.
Because MTN is hanging in there, it's got its own problems, and then so the same thing is FX anyway.
Yes, it's very obvious. There's no way a tariff that started from 100 Naira then when they started is currently around 20 Naira on the average. That's per minute to make calls. And call is also dropping. Most people use the WhatsApp to make calls internet-based. So for them, top line in terms of revenue dropping significantly across the sector. And CapEx has increased as a result of the devaluation or depreciation of the Naira. OPEX has also doubled. For most of them, the base station, though they are outsourced, base station, you use diesel, you have at least 2 standby gens that you have to run 24 hours. And the cost of diesel have also increased. OPEX is also increasing. So it's going, I think the regulator, NCC, should look beyond just the Etisalat issues. What can they do to amend this the policy around that sector such that they can attract foreign investor or investment into the sector?
In other words, the meeting today between NCC and the Central Bank of Nigeria should look beyond the Etisalat debt and say, hold on a second, perhaps this is a symptom of a problem brewing with the other telecommunications company that we're not aware of. So perhaps this gives an opportunity to use one stone to kill 2 birds and say, look, Central Bank will have to tell the NCC, hold on a second, but you need to look at the tariff, we need to talk to the legislators, we need to talk to the presidency or the executive branch, and then tell the Central Bank, what do we do with the FX? Because the Central Bank has tried to do a few things with the petrol importers, with the airline operators. Okay, so is it a time to look into the telecommunications and use Etisalat as a test case, as a guinea pig story to prevent a bubble from busting in that sector? Because if you allow any of this to go down, you're looking at human resource issue here. If MTN, if Etisalat and the rest of them start laying off staff massively, we got a problem.
I think, yeah, you are spot on. In terms, when you look at it, systemically very important sector. You look at in terms of even how they have also helped in terms of businesses. Before, when you recall, before the privatization of the space, how you have to travel before you execute any business, and so it's very critical. We need very smooth network in terms of very smooth and efficient network. So the CBN needs to look beyond just beyond Etisalat to see how they want to also assist in terms of the FX. So in quote is to subsidize FX for some of these companies, but that can't be also sustainable. So NCC, on the other hand, now needs to look at what can we do. We've privatized this sector, we've deregulated it, allow demand and supply to determine rate, because there's competition. It's not just a monopoly market. If they would be mindful of also increasing their rate beyond, because there's Glo, there's MTN, there's Etisalat, so allow them to determine their prices. And yeah, we shouldn't be making things look in terms of political will not to increase increased rates, that will continue to hamper and continue to affect this sector.
We've got about 5 minutes in this conversation or less. So is AMCON 2.0 a possible lifeboat?
I don't think that they should, like the way the first one was structured, you discover that most of those loans have not even been recovered because for the way the loans were advanced, documentations were not perfected. So that will not even encourage the CBN to go all out to come up with the AMCON 2.0. What we expect maybe they may bring in the private sector to look at on a sector basis. So what are the challenges? What can we do to restructure? If I'm buying it off, at what rate am I buying off? So the private sector coming in to buy the loan at a particular price would have also looked at, in terms of documentation of this loan, what's the probability of recovering some of these loans. So it's not about just taking it off. And if you also just throw that out like that, it means that the banks, in terms of being disciplined, would not also be there. They know once you accumulate loans, there will be another AMCON 3.0 that will come and clean my books, and I can always just give a loan without trying to do proper documentation.
A quick one, and the last one. Some folks have been on Twitter since yesterday when the Tisala story came out and said, does this make a scenario possible to say, with today, perhaps we should bring in the SEC and the Nigerian Stock Exchange and say, bingo, here we go. Etisalat, get on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, get listed. Maybe we should just keep the others, Airtel, MTN, and Glo, say, look, come and list on the stock exchange. Maybe this is a nice time to get that done.
Yes, I feel this is a very nice opportunity to raise long-term capital. They will be able to reduce that debt burden, and they will be able to run smoothly. The capital market has picked up in the past 2 months, and confidence have improved. Depending on the valuation, and we're able to see how sustainable their earnings is, I feel investors will be willing to invest. MTN still working on the listing process. If Etisalat, if they can also exploit that option, I feel it's something that you can raise equity capital that will reduce your debt burden, and you'll be able to sustain your business.
A fantastic conversation. We're going to listen to everyone today and see what the regulators will come up with as a final statement as to the resolution of this issue. But of course, the non-performing loans conversation is not over yet.
Yes.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Ayodeji Ebo, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer at Afrinvest Securities.